An electrically conductive plastic fitting and other vintage plumbing parts. Let's start with the electrically conductive fitting as this one here. It was made by Cabot Piping Systems and it was known as CabXL. They even put CabXL in the fitting. And these CabXL fittings are threaded and you'd fill in the space between fittings with CabXL nipples. I'm not really sure what made this fitting electrically conductive. It was made out of cross-linked polyethylene, which is what PEX is made out of, but PEX is not electrically conductive. So I almost wonder if they added metal shavings or something to make it stronger, because this fitting seems like it's made to be very strong. The walls are very thick and the fitting is heavy. In the 1965 Cabot Piping Systems book, they talk about CabXL. Now you should take all precautions as if you were installing metallic piping in your electrical equipment. Now let's talk about this fitting itself. It's a 2-inch fitting, you put 2 right there, and this is made for pressure applications. It's too short for drainage. So this could be the main line and you could have one coming off of it, or you could have one of these be the main line and 2 coming off of it. Now this fitting doesn't have many markings. You can see it only has the 2 in CabXL, there's nothing else. This PVC fitting made by Cabot, it says Cabot right on it, 2-inch on each hub, Schedule 40 Industrial USA, NSF PVC, and then whatever that's supposed to mean. So it has a lot of markings, but these CabXL fittings didn't. Now Cabot made all sorts of plastic pipe. They even made polypropylene drainage fittings that would connect with heat fusion. The next fitting is an ABS fitting made by Yardley, so it's not electrically conductive, and it's an 1.5 by 2-inch fixture tee. You glue this on the pipe coming up, you glue this part on the vent coming down, and then this is a threaded connection. Back when this fitting was made, a lot of people used cast brass chrome traps. So you could have screwed a brass or galvanized nipple in here, came out of the wall with it, and then you could screw on your cast trap. And then the nipple sticking out of the wall would be covered with an escutcheon. Nowadays, they still make those traps, but not too common. Nowadays, they use a lot of plastic traps. So you might come out of the wall with an ABS pipe that would be glued into here and then a trap adapter to connect the slip joint, or you could just continue with ABS for an ABS trap. I use the solid ABS ones. You can see it says Yardley. I'm not sure how old that logo is. Yardley was founded in 1946, and this fitting is probably from the 60s or 70s. You can see this is NSFDWV. They put NSF on this fitting the older way, which is not in capital letters. Uniform Plumbing Code, they don't put that on too many fittings anymore. There's a part number, it says ABS, other side, same thing. And ABS hasn't changed a whole lot except for the brands. Yardley made all sorts of ABS pipe. They made ABS pressure fittings, and they made ABS sewer and drain fittings that went down to 2-inch. And 2-inch is a very odd size for sewer and drain. Nothing like that exists anymore. The next fitting is a lot newer. It's this Genova twist lock plug from the early 80s. And how these would work is you'd get, most of the time, a Genova fitting that had these nubs. You push it in, and you'd twist it to lock it in place. Now, if you didn't have a Genova fitting, you had this Grinnell fitting, it would still work. You push this in, put it any way you want it, and then you put 2 sheet metal screws in here to hold it in place so you couldn't pull it out. Now here's an older model of the twist lock plug. This one was made in 1975, and it has no screw slots, so you had to use it on a Genova fitting. See, it says Genova 71871 is the part number. It looks like they put the part number in smaller numbers down there. And then the patent number is 3677301. They put that patent number on the twist lock plugs and on the fittings with the nubs. The gasket is this foam rubber gasket. It looks like it shrunk down. My guess is that somebody left this in a fitting for many years, and then they finally took it out and it just permanently shrunk this gasket. The next fitting is for pressure applications, and it's a repair coupling made by Harco. They still make these, and they rely on these rubber gaskets to make a seal. This one is probably from the 70s because it's the older NSF. It's for 1.5-inch PVC, and you'd have to push this on the pipe really hard to get it in place, and you push another pipe into here. These haven't changed a whole lot. The next fitting is somewhat of a mystery, and it's a 3-inch by 1.5" ABS reducer. It could be made by 4D because there's a D right there, but usually the D would have a 4 inside of it, so I'm a little bit confused on that. Let's see, it says made in the USA, part number, UPC, NSF-DWV. They put NSF on this fitting the older way. You can see it's not in capital letters. 1.5" by 3". And then it says black ABS, white PVC, and that's kind of odd because a lot of PVC back then was either gray or beige. Now my guess is that this manufacturer was an early manufacturer of the white PVC, and they just put that on there for their brand of fittings. The next fitting is also somewhat of a mystery. It's a Plastiline fitting. That's the Plastiline P that they started using in 1965. I'm confused on where this is made. A lot of Plastiline fittings were made in Florida, but this one has the George Fisher logo, and George Fisher is from Switzerland, and it says UPVC. We don't use UPVC here. Now they do have some George Fisher locations in America, and George Fisher actually bought GSR, but I almost wonder if this fitting was made by George Fisher in Switzerland, but it was made for Plastiline in Florida. Now this is just a simple fitting. It would connect two 1" mil pipes at a 90-degree angle. The next fitting is this Elson bushing. Now Elson is a brand I haven't reviewed yet. I also wanted to review Typhoon and Celanese. You see it was made in the USA. It has a 3 there, but there's no 3" pipe here, so I'm not sure why that's there. NSFPW for potable water, and then it says PVC Schedule 80 ASTM 2 by 3/4 inch. So you'd fit this inside of a 2" Schedule 80 hub, and then you'd stick a 3/4 inch pipe inside of here. It's a very simple fitting, and it hasn't changed a whole lot. The next fitting is from the 60s or 70s, and it was made by Thermoplastics. You can see there's a Thermoplastics logo right there, PVC, NSF the older way. The 4 dots, I don't really know what those mean, and then this is 1.5" by 1". You glue this in an 1.5" hub, and you'd screw 1" pipe into here. S80, Schedule 80. So this looks like a Thermoplastic Schedule 40 fitting, but it's actually Schedule 80. When it comes to bushings, it doesn't matter if it's Schedule 80 or Schedule 40, because the sizes of the pipe would still be the same. The next fitting is a Crestline fitting. It doesn't say Crestline. It just has a C and a line right next to it. And I was actually confused with this fitting, which also has a C and a line. I didn't know what manufacturer this was, but this fitting is probably from Crestline because of the same logo as this fitting, which is definitely Crestline. You can see there's that little screw head, and that was what put the mold together. That's the part number. You can see it's a Schedule 40, and this is just an 1.5" mil adapter. So you'd screw this in an 1.5" female fitting, and you glue an 1.5" PVC pipe into here. The next fitting is this male adapter made by Genova. You glue it onto 2" PVC, and you'd screw it into a 2" threaded fitting hub. You can see it says Genova, NSF-DWV. They put NSF on this fitting the older way, so this fitting could be from the 60s. It says PVC, and then that's the part number. They still make this fitting, but now it's white, and the markings have changed. The last fitting is this bushing. It's an 1.5" by 2" bushing made by Genova, and they put all the information right here. It says Genova, NSF-DWV, PVC, and then that's the part number right there. Nowadays, this fitting is white, and they put all the markings right here. I'm surprised that they put it where you wouldn't be able to see them, because this would be inside of a fitting hub.